Hi, Miss Alinger. I'm
Hi.
Eric Hedberg.
Nice to meet you.
Going to be working with you today.
Okay.
So I know the front desk, they probably got you to fill out a whole lot of forms and gave you some information. Just wanted to make sure, do you have any questions about anything before we get started?
I don't think so. I think it was all pretty straightforward, but if I do, I'll ask. Thank you.
Okay, great. And actually, I want to encourage that. Like at any point, if you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to interject them.
Thank you.
So a lot of times with new clients, I like to just kind of talk about, I guess, my thoughts on the therapy process.
Sure, cool.
And I noticed from your intake form, looks like you've had some therapy experience before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind just telling me a little bit about that, what that was like for you?
Sure. So I started therapy when I was pretty young. My parents got divorced, and so that was a big life change. So we kind of started in therapy then. And then health has been an issue for me, so I've kind of been dealing with a chronic pain disorder, and I've been in therapy trying to just kind of manage it, stay afloat, like make sure I'm doing all of the techniques that I know, and just kind of management of everyday life and that kind of thing.
Okay, great. And how's that benefited you? How's that been working?
I've definitely come to learn myself a lot better. I've learned to process things so I know kind of what's a trigger and what is really going to kind of set me off, and so that I know, okay, this is happening, so now this is going to happen. What are you going to do to, I have anxiety, so I get panicky and really frazzled, so just skills to kind of moderate that.
Okay.
But it's been helpful.
So some kind of skills to anticipate your own reaction and then to kind of head it off before you... Okay.
Definitely.
Great. Are there any things throughout the process that have been either particularly helpful or particularly unhelpful for you?
I think I'm a talker, so once I get going, I've noticed hearing myself say things out loud will help me because it just clicks. I'm a very kind of auditory learner. I need to hear things to process them. And so getting that and having a sounding board to kind of get my thoughts out to, and then getting something back, even just like realizing it as I'm saying it, or having somebody to be like, no, and kind of call me on my BS when I need it.
Okay. So just kind of encouraging you to talk out some stuff. Okay.
Processing. Lots of, I guess, trying to figure, okay, I feel this way, but then like, well, why do I feel that way? And like that kind of thing, more of like an explanation. I need to know why I'm feeling like this, because if I don't, it just kind of bothers me. I just kind of have this like uneasy feeling, like I need to detect what is making me feel like this, or else it won't stop.
Okay. Well, so, it sounds like you obviously had made some progress through therapy in the past. What are your specific goals for coming to see me?
I think what I would like to be able to do is learn some kind of grounding techniques for when I am past the point of like, okay, just calm down. And what it has been bothering me has like gotten to a boiling point, and kind of handling that, not quite in, I don't want to say crisis because I haven't gotten to that point, but kind of talking myself back and just, I guess, reining it in more quickly and not, I don't want to say flying off the handle so easily, but just processing so that I don't fly off the handle.
Okay. So maybe some techniques to kind of just slow down that thinking when what you've currently learned isn't helping. Okay. Great. Well, I do. I like to think of therapy as a partnership where we can kind of work together to take a look at some of those things that you're struggling with and try and come up with good solutions.
That would be great.
And part of my role in that, I feel, is to create an environment that you're safe and you're comfortable in, so we can, because some of that stuff, I'm sure, from my experience working with other clients with chronic pain, I know that can cause some pretty scary emotions, some ones that can be difficult to face head on.
Definitely.
So, and again, I'm going to go back to encouraging you. If there's anything that's going on with you, anything that's kind of either bothering you about what I'm doing, anything that I can do to make you more comfortable in this situation, please do feel free.
Thank you.
To let me know. And I may periodically just kind of ask for some feedback throughout our sessions to see how I'm doing.
Cool.
And if there's anything else I can do.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, so I guess if you don't mind, what are some of your current triggers that you see that you struggled with maybe in the recent past?
I've noticed stress as a big physical trigger. When I start to feel stressed or anxious, my body starts to respond, and my nerve disease will get worse, and it will kind of, I lose functioning. So then I start stressing out about, okay, I'm stressed, so this is happening, but like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to fall apart right now, and so I have to do this, and so it kind of, I then get more stressed out thinking I'm going to get behind, and then that stress just kind of builds on top of it and snowballs into like, wow, I'm just a giant ball of anxiety.
Gotcha. So it sounds like when you do get stressed, your pain kicks in, and it kind of almost puts more limitations on you.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that causes a lot of anxiety for you.
Definitely. And then I'm starting I just started a master's program about 3 weeks ago.
Great.
So I'm in a new place. I'm new to Greenville. So I moved with my fiance, but my family's in Boston, and my best friends are in Wilmington. So I have a rock in my fiance. He's great. He's awesome, but just kind of missing my friends.
Sure.
And we've lived together for 3 years, so they knew me, they knew my triggers, they knew how to talk me down, like they were kind of my like crisis team.
Gotcha.
And so now adjusting to not having them, not seeing them every day, and like, yes, they're a phone call, but it's not the same.
They're not there as immediately
Right.
to be able to kind of step in when you need some support.
Definitely. So kind of, I guess maybe becoming more like self-regulatory and not necessarily needing to have somebody else that's like, no, well, you're okay, but being able to be like, no, I am okay.
Sure.
I can do this.
Sure.
I think that would be a goal.
Okay. Well, I definitely feel like that's something that we can work towards. And I mean, it sounds like you're, it's a strength for you that you're able to kind of reach out for help when you need it, and to kind of recognize that. I know a lot of times people don't feel comfortable asking for that help when they need it.
It took me a while to kind of get lots of therapy to kind of just realize, like, it's okay to ask for help. What's not okay is, like, flushing your life down the toilet because you're too afraid to ask for help, or you're too
Gotcha.
stuck in your own ways, I guess. And it was kind of, I'm a big support system for my family and my friends, and so at first, like, thinking I need to be so strong for them, I need to be, unstoppable for them, and then that pressure kind of was too much, and it wasn't reasonable because I don't expect them to be perfect. I expect them to need me, so why wouldn't I need them?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Good. And is that something that you got to through working some therapy?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a really, really nice therapist that I worked with for a while, but then had to move. So that was really the only reason we kind of parted ways, was I came down to North Carolina for school.
Gotcha.
But there was a lot of techniques, and I'm really open to trying whatever. I just hopefully you can open my eyes to what some of those things would be,
Okay.
and some of those tools.
Sure. Well, as we progress, what I'll probably do is just try and come up with some thoughts, some strategies, and just give you an overview and see what it is that you would be interested in trying, what you think might work well for you. So now, as far as, obviously the anxiety is kind of, putting out a fire when a fire starts creeping up. But how are you doing on just overall emotional management? I know, like I said, I I know that the chronic pain can be, especially on your intake sheet, it said it's something that there's not really a cure for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that thought of dealing with it, essentially for the rest of your life, from other people I've worked with, that's pretty overwhelming, pretty daunting.
It can be, yeah, definitely looking at the big picture and being like, wow, that's a lot of days that you have to wake up with this. But then I guess keeping in the mindset that I don't have to do that. I have to just tomorrow. That's all I have to do. I just have to do tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll just have to do the next day, and then the next tomorrow. So,
or maybe even just today.
Some days that's all I can commit to. That's
Yeah.
all I can think about is just I just need to get through today. You're right.
Okay. So, is that something you also worked on? through therapy?
Definitely. I saw a chronic pain management specialist at Children's Boston, so I had a lot of those kind of acceptance going through those stages of like, okay, this is what my life's going to be, and that's okay. I just have to adjust these expectations, and I'm hurting, but I'm not being harmed is kind of the way they've explained it to me, and just managing that with that mentality and insight.
Yeah. Well, that's great, actually. I find that for a lot of people, it's hard to get to that acceptance stage. And a lot of people are just so focused in the moment and in the pain that they're experiencing right now. And just getting to a point where they can say, okay, it is what it is, and I need to learn, I need to learn what I need to do to deal with it. Sounds like you are there and have been there for a while. So I think, we're at a great place to start working.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Yeah.